Oh, okay, good.
This is Lilas from Duel magazine, Julie Mehretu.
Hi. I'm really excited to see it because I haven't seen it in its full experience here in the gallery. Only in video. So I'm super excited to see it tonight, and I think I'm gonna cry. It's true though.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this whole journey with Julie's work has been so exciting. I've been a big fan for a long time before we met of Julie's work, and for me, this is also kind of a project where the audience has always played a huge role. How they circulate, how they interact. Spatially, how they frame the experience of the dance in relationship to the painting and vice versa. That's kind of the heart of the project. So to me, I'm really thrilled to be entering this stage, and I think we're ready. I mean, I guess we're about to find out.
Yeah, we're ready. No, it's gonna be great.
Well, I would say that this kind of one of the things that was so fascinating and continues to unfold through the process is this sense of the touchstones that have really long been things that spoke to me. Not all of them, but every so often we'll like stumble across a particular thing that then resonates, like has long been kind of like a beacon for me in terms of
for me too, yeah.
a reference. So this Benjamin quote about Paul Klee painting Angelus Novus, and how one of the paintings, I had no idea that one of the trance paintings has a subtitle that refers to that Klee painting. And the Benjamin text about that painting and history as like framing history and progress as this kind of accumulation of the wreckage of human action, was an epigraph of a work that I made, like 10 years ago. So, it's been a kind of interesting process to rediscover these things that feel very much like home in somebody else's imaginative mind or approach or way of thinking about the world.
For me, this is the closest I've ever worked with dance and movement, and I think I find it so exhilarating and so formative. Like it's really kind of the way I'm seeing things are affecting how I think about painting. And so that's really kind of amazing. And so I'm really excited to see things tonight. So maybe we have to talk about that after.
Yeah.
Maybe we get a second interview after. Here, that's very common. That's a reality with these paintings as well. These paintings are really, in certain ways, transient. They're made with light is a big agent in them. Light is part of the materiality of the paintings, and the translucent paintings, as you saw in Australia, they change depending on who's in the room, who's behind it, what the light quality is. They're different on a cloudy day than a rainy day than a bright sunny day, morning to evening. All these different light qualities affect how you see them. And then you have the black paintings that have this interference ink, which is ink that changes depending on the perspective of where you are in relation to the light and how you're seeing them. So those paintings are constantly changing depending on where you are and how you're looking at them. And so when you have this, that's also happening with the performance. There's this constant, like, there isn't the kind of authoritarian or not even authoritarian, but this kind of sovereign perspective on something. There isn't the way it's supposed to be, but there really is this kind of subjective, very personal perspective. So each person's experience will be very different than the other. And that's how these paintings are experienced anyway.
And
I mean, I can tell you that I've already seen movements that they're elements in the paintings that feel to me like they call from the tradition of the figure in painting in all different forms. And there's certain gestures that happen in the painting that I see happening in what I've seen of the dance and the movement. And so I think I think I'm really excited to see how that manifests here in this space. And I was interested in doing some kind of work with him just to see what does working alongside mean? Because I think what happens in the conversation is it bleeds into both. But I also think like what's interesting about that is when I first was looking at and experiencing John's work, there are these moments where I really feel like you sense this engagement with this other space that's not there. That there's this, whether it's like feeling like you're pulling a beam or string or some kind of forces that you're engaged with, some kind of architectural spaces that's invisible. It's for me, it's a visceral experience that you have when you experience the work, even with this, so much of it. And I think that's it's fascinating how the bodies then become part abstract sculpture under the cardboard and with the mattress, and then what that suggests, and then this whole other how that moves through the space and how the bodies become become individuated again, and then how they don't. And yeah, there's something that they kind of blend into one another into these other forms. I don't know, there's something really something that's profound in that and suggested that I think I'm really excited to see tonight.
But I want to say one of the exciting things about working with Julie has been this sense of like gameness.
Yeah, open, yeah.
Like really like, okay, well, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Like a kind of sense of curiosity and excitement about potentiality without a kind of I mean, it's not foolhardy, but it's also like in a space where I feel like there's a trust.
Yeah.
And then maybe later on we'll decide, okay, well, we don't want that or whatnot. But from the beginning, this sense of like, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Which has been so exciting and just a total gift.
For me too, so generative. Because yeah, I think we spoke about this last time too, that we both are not trying to do the same thing again in our work. And so these opportunities offer new ways of investigating, interrogating, exploring, experimenting, and inventing.
Yeah. I'm not interested in a passive audience. I'm interested in activating the audience. And what that means is that the audience is then in a dynamic relationship with the work. Now, if I say, this is what the work is, it's much easier for the audience to be like, oh, I see, it's this. And then they sit back and relax into a particular way of engaging with the work that doesn't require the kind of active engagement with the work that I'm seeking. So it's not about opacity of not connecting. It's actually about creating a relationship with a public where they're implicated in how is like examining like how am I making connections? How am I building refractions in connecting this to this? Is Julie going to experience it the same way that somebody else will? No. And the beauty of that is that there, like this whole wealth of experience that each of us brings to anything, whether it's painting or dance or a piece of music, like that interplay of how poetics creates a refractory experience isn't opaque. It's in fact dynamically alive. And to me, that's the thing that I want from making work and from sharing it with other people. And it's not this kind of like give it to me, delivery. So in order to do that, I can't impose, or I feel the need to not impose some of the things that were early on in my process, because I trust that some of that's going to come through in one way or another. And it's important to leave space for people to discover things that I haven't even realized. are functioning inside that might be in my subconscious or things that I'm not even fully aware of that are creating a kind of logic within the work that I have yet to discover in my conscious mind, but it's still there. It's part of the current that's running underneath the work that drives the decision that maybe we call intuition, you know. Um, so I have a lot of respect for that, and that isn't about withholding. It's in fact about opening a space up that I feel like is much more dynamically alive.
Exactly. Well said.
Well,